Hello and welcome to Xbox On, and happy Lunar New Year!
Yep, this Saturday marks the beginning of 2020 in the lunar calendar, and Xbox is marking the occasion with, what else? A massive sale on some of its finest games.
There is a lot of good stuff for cheap this week, so we couldn't resist doing 20 picks for 2020.
That's a lot of deals to get through, so let's jump right in, starting with one of the best gaming trilogies of all time.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the dead.
Have you ever been to Rapture, Bioshock's iconic Art Deco dystopia below the waves?
Maybe?
How about Rapture,
Ooh.
the city in the clouds from Bioshock Infinite?
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
With 2K just announcing it started work on a sequel to these beloved RPG shooters, now's a great time to pick up Bioshock The Collection, bringing together the remastered versions of all three games, along with all their DLC, and even a director's commentary.
That is a big bundle, especially at 75% discount. This is a Bioshockingly good deal, so go and grab it now, would you kindly?
Let's hurry up and get this started.
This could be fun.
I'll play with you.
If you've been playing the brand new Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and fancy a slightly different experience in that same anime universe, well, Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ Z is 75% off for the Lunar New Year.
Instead of an action RPG, FIGHTERZ is, well, a fighter, featuring every Dragon Baller you could hope for.
You've got Goku, you've got Gohan, you've got Piccolo, Trunks, and Vegeta. They're all here.
You pick a dream team of your three fave fighters and lead them into tag matches, online, in couch multiplayer, and even through a story mode supervised by series creator Akira Toriyama.
So gel your hair up into spikes, bleach it blonde, and prepare to go Super Saiyan with Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ Z.
Next up, another Bandai Namco banger with 70% off Soul Calibur 6.
It's got all the brilliant weapon-based combat you'd expect, with swords and axes, and a sword that turns into a whip. But 6 also adds the star of Netflix's hottest new show to its roster. That's right, you could play as Riviera's favourite son, good old Jerry Witcher himself.
And for even more cross-game cameos, you can pick up Soul Calibur 6 Deluxe Edition, also 70% off this week, to grab extra characters, including 2B, Nier Automata's android heroine, and Haomaru, the man who puts the samurai in SNK's Samurai Showdown.
Nice.
Who do you think you are?
War. I am war.
If that's not enough sword-on-sword action for you, how about 2/3 of Ubisoft's For Honor?
This is a very different kind of multiplayer fighting game, letting you take to the medieval battlefield as a knight, Viking, or samurai hero, all with their own deep and unique movesets.
Plus, if you've got an Xbox One X, there are some great enhancements to check out here, going above and beyond 4K resolution with more realistic water and shadows, and a higher level of detail in the distance to really bring those battlefields to life.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, if you're looking for even more of a twist on your standard fighting game, you might want to check out the quirky Oh My Godhead, 75% off this week.
It's a 4-player brawler where you battle for control of a giant head.
Smash opponents with your weapon to grab this arena's Godhead, then try to get it past them and back to your team's pedestal to score a point. Simple.
Yeah, very simple, except every god comes with its own powers, like lightning or switching your controls to keep everything good and chaotic.
Perfect for those head-to-head sessions of couch multiplayer.
Just got that.
Time to crack that diamond, baby.
You probably already know this, but just in case you spent the festive break with your head encased in concrete, GTA 5 is now available on Xbox Game Pass for console.
Wait, what?
It is! Absolutely.
If you've been playing GTA Online and want to push your empire of crime that little bit further, we've got an offer you can't refuse.
The Criminal Enterprise Starter Pack and Megalodon Shark Card Bundle is 20% off, giving you 8 million GTA dollars to spend in the game, plus a ton of properties, vehicles, weapons, and outfits worth another 10 million.
Heisting might be a little bit easier than taking part in a jetpack race anyway.
Right.
Wouldn't it?
Okay, well, I got it now, lads. Oh. Next up, a game that is literally rad.
Set in a post-apocalyptic world that's permanently stuck in the 80s. This roguelike action game puts you in control of a team of teenage mutant, well, not ninjas or turtles,
Okay,
but
sure.
they can grow extra arms or wings or turn into a straight-up centaur, depending on which randomly chosen mutations the game gives you.
If you want to get to know Double Fine, the newest addition to the Xbox Game Studios family, Rad is the perfect place to start. It's their most recent game, and this week is 40% off.
Radical, man. We've got a few retro deals to take you back to the arcade era now, starting with Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, a modern reimagining of the ghost-dodging, dot-gobbling classic, which is discounted by 75%.
Expect that gameplay we all know and love, but remixed, with three-dimensional mazes and bomb attacks and even boss battles in Pac-Man!
Ludicrous. Or, pushing the yellow chomper in an even more unusual direction, is Pac-Man 256.
This is an endless runner where you're not just evading Blinky, Inky and co, but also a destructive glitch that's swallowing up the maze behind you.
It's got new ghosts, laser power-ups, even 4-player co-op. So, if you fancy a Pac-Man experience unlike any other, it's half price this week.
If you're an Xbox Live Gold subscriber, chances are you've picked up a Castlevania game or two over the years, but with our next deal, you can go back to where it all began.
There are 8 games on offer here, and all for half price. Whether you want to try the original 8-bit classic for the first time, or play Kid Dracula, a weird comedy spin-off game that has never been released in the West before, this collection has you covered.
Let's rock.
Sticking with the classics, but jumping forwards a decade or two, next we've got the Devil May Cry HD Collection with 40% off.
It takes the first trilogy of these stylish action games, gives them all the HD treatment, and wraps them up in one neat package.
Oh, and the whole thing runs best at a blistering 60 frames per second, so the hacking, slashing and shooting is smoother than ever on your Xbox One.
Or how about a modern classic? Dark Souls was one of our picks for Game of the Decade, and this week you can pick up its remastered edition for half price.
You get the base game plus the Artorias of the Abyss DLC, all presented in HD and 60 frames per second.
It's the perfect way to experience the Kingdom of Lordran, even if you're one of those rock-hard types who finished the whole thing already.
Shall we give them what they want? Or shall we make them want what you want?
Okay, that brings us up to modern day and Tropico 6, which arrived just a few months ago and is 30% off this week.
It's the game which elects you as El Presidente, dictator of a tropical island nation.
On top of building cities and managing the economy, you can deck out your island with some iconic landmarks, shall we say borrowed from other countries?
Yeah. Next up, the Escapists 2 Game of the Year Edition with 70% off.
A deal so criminally good it could land you in jail, but don't worry about it, because with this game, you'll know exactly how to bust out.
It's a prison break simulator with multiple ways of making your way to freedom. If you're an Xbox Game Pass member, you can play the base game as part of your subscription. But this edition also adds 4 DLC packs, adding new maps from a traveling circus to a fantasy castle.
Although honestly, why would you want to escape either of those things? They sound amazing.
Yeah, lock me up.
Yeah.
And after you've escaped a prison, why not take it to the next level and escape the gravitational pull of an entire planet?
Sure, why not? Kerbal Space Program challenges you with designing a fully functioning spacecraft from scratch and sending it out to explore the galaxy.
No big deal. Released with a 75% discount and the sequel arriving at some point in 2020, the decision to buy this game is, well, it's hardly rocket science.
Oh my God, Henry.
The war for Mordor begins.
For any fantasy fans out there, good news, because Middle-earth Shadow of War Definitive Edition is half price this week.
This is another Xbox Game Pass title, but the Definitive Edition adds tons of extra content with 2 story expansions, including a whole new playable character, plus more campaigns and side missions, and 2 Nemesis expansions that bring a new orc tribe into the game.
And if you aren't an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, for some reason, this deal means that it's available for just a smidge more than the standard edition, and that's a whole lot of Middle-earth for your money.
You might know Square Enix for Final Fantasy or Tomb Raider, but our next pick is something just a bit different from the publisher.
Octahedron, a psychedelic 2D platformer that's equal parts Mario and Rave, with a banging soundtrack from house trance and chiptune legends.
Pick it up now for 60% off and see you in this Lunar New Year in style.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, well, honestly, our next deal probably isn't going to do much to help, but it should at least help distract you from any spooky goings-on. It's Ghostbusters, a video game remastered for 40% off.
Nice. Set 2 years after the second film, this game reunites the original cast for another adventure, brought to life with 4K enhancements on Xbox One X. Now, from busting ghosts to boarding snow with Steep.
This Ubisoft game drops you on top of the Alps and lets you decide how to get down and what you want to do along the way.
You can wingsuit all the way to base camp, take part in a snowboard race, or seek out the hardest possible ski routes and then challenge others to follow it.
The game might be called Steep, but with 50% off the price, buying it is anything but.
We've talked about all kinds of games this week, from high-end AAA titles to some weird and wonderful hidden gems. But honestly, you can't beat a good Peggle.
Absolutely not. For any non-Pegglers out there, this is a game where you shoot a ball to hit as many blocks and pegs as possible.
It's a bit like Breakout combined with Pachinko, combined with a pinball table that's been turned upside down, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Agreed. We could tell you about unicorns and trick shots and the ode to joy, but it's kind of hard to explain why it's so good.
So, given that Peggle 2 is 80% off, that's just 1/5 of its regular price by the way, why not just pick it up and find out for yourself, and then you can thank us down in the comments.
You must be remade.
Right, that's more than enough deals to keep you going this week, but really, we've just scratched the surface of what's available in this sale.
If you found any bargains of your own, let us know down in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and head over to Mixer to check out our daily streams.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!